Hello, and welcome. Welcome once again to the Secrets of the High Demand Coach podcast. And I'm here with yet another high demand coach, just an amazing guy. In the couple of minutes we've had a chance to talk, I know you're in for a great episode. Who's with me here today but the one and only Alan Lazaros. Now, Alan, his mission is to assist others in shaping and their fulfilling lives, unlocking their unique potential, and constructing businesses that resonate with them on their own terms. He possesses a potent blend of technical proficiency and business savvy, specializing in peak performance, productivity, organizational design, and individual team and business optimization. He founded Next Level University, leading a team that believes in heart-driven approach to holistic self-improvement for dream chasers. He's conducted numerous trainings around the world and has enthusiastically completed thousands of one-on-one coaching sessions with his clients. And he's here with us today. Alan, welcome to the show. So excited to have you here.
Thank you. What a high energy intro. I'm going to match the energy of this rock and roll.
All right, let's do it. Heart behind the show, I want to introduce folks to great coaches. One of the things that I found is that great coaches really have a reason for why they do what they do. So if you could rewind the tape for us a little bit, what were you doing before getting into coaching, and how did it lead you to where you are today?
All right. So because we have a short form episode, I'll try to be as brief as I can, but I've got a short version of my story, a mid version, a long version. I'll try to give the short to mid version. So when I was 2 years old, definitely born into adversity. Father passed away when I was 2. My mom was the stay-at-home mom. He was the breadwinner. Had an older sister. She was 6 at the time. I was 2. My father was 28. Mom was 31. So when my father passed away, my mom didn't really know what she was going to do. She ended up getting with my stepfather. My real last name is actually McCorkle. My birth father's name is John McCorkle. And it was a big Irish Catholic family. Yeah. Jim, Joe, John, Jane, Joe, Jeanette, 6 kids, all with J. And so now when my stepfather came into the picture, though, I took his last name, Lazaros. We kind of didn't talk a lot to my birth father's side of the family. Stepfather leaves when I'm 14 years old. He leaves. When he leaves, he takes 90% of the income with him, and I go from pretty upper middle class, doing well. I call it boats and BS, that phase of my life. We had, a Ducati, we had motorcycles, snowmobiles, ski trips. We had a yacht, that kind of thing. So he got the yacht and the apartment building. We got the house and the dog. That same time, my sister moves out. That same time, not only did my stepdad take his entire extended family with him, and not only do I not see my birth father's side of the family, but my mom and her sister get in a big fight. We get ostracized from her side of the family too. And my sister moves out. Didn't know any of this until my 30s, brother. Started doing therapy work and stuff. By the time I'm 14 years old, I've kind of lost 3 families.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So fortunately, my birth father's side really took us back with open arms, and they all looked at me like they were seeing a ghost because I looked just like my dad, type of thing. Go from pretty upper middle class, late 90s, early 2000s, everybody doing really well, to basically stepdad leaves. I don't even know how I'm going to go to college. Again, short version here. I go to college. First, I get straight A's in high school to get as much scholarships and financial aid as I possibly can, because I went from well off with my stepdad around to basically free lunch at school, shopping at thrift stores, no money. Broke all through college, bootstrapped my way through computer engineering. I went to a college called Worcester Polytechnic Institute. It's called WPI. It's like a mini MIT in the Worcester area, Massachusetts. And stayed for my MBA. I had 2 paths in life ever since I was a little kid, and now I realize how weird this is, even though back then I didn't know it was weird. So my 2 paths, as scary as this is to share, I decided I wanted to be lawyer, politician, president, or I wanted to be engineer, MBA, CEO of a tech company like my hero, Steve Jobs. Those are my 2 paths. And the adversity that I went through, I didn't realize this again until my 30s, but I had a trauma response that's very unique. My trauma response was aim higher, work harder, get smarter. And I was an achiever, and I was improvement oriented, but I wasn't fulfilled. And again, I know you've heard a lot about stuff like that, probably on podcasts and things like that. So I was very much achieving at the expense of fulfillment. So right. I do well in corporate after my MBA, job hop a ton, iRobot, Sensata Technologies, Tyco Safety Products, Simplex Grinnell, eventually ended up at a company called Cognex. I had an interview at SpaceX for a time. I was one of those just engineering MBA achievers who just everything seems to win success-wise, but inside wasn't fulfilled at all. Fast forward, I get in my own car accident. Again, short version. Up in New Hampshire, end up on the wrong side of the road, dark winter night. What I thought was a Mack truck in front of me had that moment of, this is it. This is the end. Fortunately, it wasn't a Mack truck. It was a lift-kitted pickup truck. I'm driving a 2004 Volkswagen Passat that I bought for $5,000 cash, and it's a German-engineered steel trap of a car. I used to call it the tank. That car saved my life 100%. Now, at this time, I'm in corporate working for a company called Cognex. I'm an outside sales engineer making almost $200,000 a year. So I went from broke to like 1% global earner within, a 3 or 4 year period after college. So I'm successful, but I'm not fulfilled. After the car accident, I'm 26 at the time. I've got $150,000 in an investment account, tech companies, stocks, all that stuff. A lot of Cognex too. And I have no kids. I have no mortgage. I have no expenses, and I just have tons of money. Again, lots of success. Corporate friends, high school friends, college friends. And I'm spread super thin. I'm everything for everyone. And then I get in my car accident. And my father died at 28 in a car accident. I've seen pictures of his car. My car didn't look very different.
Wow.
So for me, this was like my ultimate wake-up call of, holy crap, I feel like I have it all together in terms of achievement, but I don't know if I ever really explored my trauma. I don't know if I ever really explored who I am. I don't know if I know I'm not fulfilled, and I'm filled with regret. I drank too much and too often. I didn't take my health and fitness seriously. I was super, super intelligent, but not very well-rounded. And again, so the best way I can describe it, shortest form is I was successful without fulfillment. I was achievement at the expense of core values and character. And then I flipped the script completely. That was the second chance my dad never got. And so ever since then, that was 9 years ago, I joke, I say, I'm hoping to hit puberty at 36 because I'm 35 now. And so now I flipped the script and I went all in on self-improvement. I went all in on inner fulfillment, and I went all the way past broke. And so I've been successful and unfulfilled, and I've also been fulfilled as hell and completely unsuccessful, which as an entrepreneur, early entrepreneurs can relate usually. And now 9 years later, we've got a big company, 21-person team, and we're growing very, very well. And again, it's challenging every day, but at least it's fulfilling work.
That's awesome. So what would you say then is some of the most important work that you and your team do today?
I think the first thing is just helping inspire people to create a bigger, better, brighter future. I as cliche as this might sound, a lot of people don't really have dreams. And I think living the dream and pursuing your dreams are the same thing. I think that most of us, there's two camps in the world. This is my perspective. And again, I've coached so many people all over the world, all different backgrounds, all different industries. At this point, I just surpassed my 5,000th one-on-one coaching session. They're all an hour long. So this is like deep coaching. And I almost always go over the hour because tears fly and it's a whole thing. So I'm not just talking. But what you realize is these same patterns. I see these professionally developed people. They're super professionally developed. They've got the great resume. They are articulate. They know how to write. They're good at math and science. They understand technology. And they win in the economy, okay? But there's another camp. And in this camp, I have one mentor who takes better care of his Porsche than his own family. That's the type of person who is very successful. A lot of my computer engineering friends that I went to college with are all very successful, all of them, in the economy. But their marriages aren't necessarily great, and they're not necessarily fit and healthy and fulfilled. And I understand because I was headed that way too. But there's this other camp, this other category of people that are holistic, heart-driven, wonderful human beings who are emotionally mature, emotionally connected. They've healed their trauma. They have a therapist, and they are such wonderful human beings, but they don't win in the economy. And you've got these like emotionally immature, traumatized, not connected to their emotions, successful entrepreneurs over here, not always, but sometimes. And then you've got these heart-driven people that don't ever win in the economy.
Yeah.
The point of Next Level University, in my opinion, is to bridge that. I think in the 21st century, we need to become ambidextrous. And I'm just as guilty as anyone else because I was professionally developed to a T, super intellectual, super intelligent, but I wasn't well-rounded. I wasn't heart-driven. I wasn't connected to my emotions. I didn't have a therapist, and I didn't heal my trauma. And so that's kind of the two camps, and my job is to hopefully merge them.
I love that. That's so powerful. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of places I could go with that, but I want to bring us to something I saw all over the place when I was researching for you guys, this idea of the next level, right? And one of the things that I've found in coaching, particularly with founders, entrepreneurs, is everyone wants to get to the next level. But when I pry a little bit, very, very few people know what the next level actually is, right? And in fact, most of the time, what I see is folks saying, I want more of the current level, right? I want to be more effective in the current level. They want it to be better and not have to work as hard. And there's a cloudiness around that. How do you guys help folks really identify what the next level is and navigate the path to it?
Well, two types of people come to me. There's the people who are professionally developed and successful, but deeply unfulfilled. And them, I need to help them realign their business with what actually fulfills them, meaning purpose, passion, that kind of thing. And then there's the other type that is super aligned and they love their life and they're pretty fulfilled, but they're not that successful. Same deal. So it depends. I have to help the lefties become righty. I have to help the righties become lefty. And so I always joke, I say, if you want a coach, you probably need a therapist. That was me. I had dozens of coaches and mentors, but no therapist. I didn't get a therapist till my 30s. I say, guys can't even ask for directions. You think we're going to get a therapist? It's a funny joke, but it's sad. It's actually very sad because it's so important. But if you want a therapist, you actually need a coach, right? And so the next level thing, the next level for someone like one of my clients, her name's Yvette, she already has a business that she adores. She loves her life. She's fulfilled. She's connected. She's aligned. You can tell she looks good energetically, not like physically, but physically she looks good too, but energetically she's aligned.
Yeah.
And she just wants to scale. She wants her life to become an amplified version of what it already is. She wants to get more and more and more percentage what fulfills her, but also more and more and more income and revenue so that she can eliminate, automate, and delegate and procrastinate the things that don't actually fulfill her. Yeah. And I think that's the journey of life, right? You have to do the hard stuff in the beginning. You do everything yourself in the beginning, and then you eliminate, automate, delegate, and procrastinate the things that are not fulfilling to you that don't make the most money. So how do you find your thing that makes the most money and you adore it? For me, that is one-on-one coaching. Kevin and I, my business partner, Kevin, he loves podcasting. It's his 10 out of 10 thing, adores it. Now, he doesn't adore it every day, so be careful with that, but he adores it. Okay, he's a podcast coach. He tolerates coaching, loves podcasting. I tolerate podcasting, love coaching. And so we sort of flip-flop. And so I have this framework called want, love, hate. Very simple. What you want is a better body, better business, better lifestyle. What you love is maybe podcasting, but what you hate is audio editing. Everything has something you hate that you have to do in order to get what you want and love.
Yeah.
And early entrepreneurs really learn that the hard way.
Yes.
Like you don't want to be broke, but you do want to start your own thing. And I always joke, I say, Coca-Cola or Sam's Cola. Everyone's going to buy a Coca-Cola because no one knows who the hell Sam is. Okay, and Sam is Sam Walton, by the way, the founder of Walmart. But the point is that you don't have a brand when you start, so you have to build one through hard work ethic where you're not being paid a lot. Yeah. And so to answer your question, everyone's next level is a little bit unique, but it's either amplifying what already is fulfilling or it's making a shift, going back to zero, going back to being a beginner to rebuild something authentic that actually fulfills you.
Yeah. Why do you think, you hit on a huge point there, and I don't want to gloss over it because I think it's really important, that going back to a beginner, why do you think it's so important to go back to that beginner mode when you're trying to make that rebalancing left to right or right to left shift?
Hardest part in the game, in my opinion. So my car accident gave me all the humble pie at once. Because when you're a computer engineer with an MBA making that much money, you have status. You have money, you have status, you it's hard to go back to being a broke loser, for lack of better phrasing. And I say that tongue in cheek, but I also am serious. This is like a real thing. People have a really hard time going back to a beginner. I remember I gave a speech once, and it was such a unique experience because there was 300 kids, 3 different assemblies, so 900 kids in one day. We gave a speech on growth mindset and perseverance to 3 sets of assemblies, all in one day, back to back to back. The first one was middle schoolers. The next one was freshman and sophomore, high school, and the next one was junior and senior. My speech, I thought, got better. But their reaction to it blew my mind. The middle schoolers were still open-minded. They were like, oh, what's this growth mindset thing? This is really cool. Their egos hadn't developed yet. Then the sophomores and freshmen, it was like a little more closed-minded, a little more making fun of it. The juniors and seniors made fun of us so much. You could tell they were too statusy to take us seriously.
Right.
Truth be told, the juniors and seniors just weren't humble. And trust me, they're going to get that entitlement smacked right out of them. The moment you get married, the moment you have kids, the moment you have a dream and try for it and hope that your parents, don't lash out when you don't do what they think you should do, like life is going to smack you so hard when you are arrogant. And so for me, I struggled with overconfidence and life smacked me down. Most people struggle with self-doubt and then they overcorrect with an ego. But the point is that the reason people struggle to achieve their dreams, in my opinion, is they don't have the humility to start small. If you're brand new to the gym, don't go to a gym that has all elite athletes, but you gotta go start at like a small little hometown gym and just start small. And eventually you'll end up potentially an elite athlete. But if you're too status driven to really be seen as a beginner, you're in so much trouble.
Yeah. So, Alan, there's a question I like to ask all my guests, and it's this. What is the biggest secret you wish wasn't a secret at all? What's that one thing you wish everybody watching or listening today knew?
Yeah, the one thing I wish everyone knew is how the unsexy answer is almost always the right one. There's this thing called an optimal stopping problem, and people say, like, do the right thing. And I always thought, maybe this is my computer engineering modality of thinking, but I always thought that was really dumb. Do the right thing. What does that even mean? That's like saying, what's the one right chess move? Aristotle said this, how do you do the right thing in the right way, at the right time, for the right reason, with the right people, in the right amount? That's why life's so hard. Who's got that figured out? You put the nachos in for 3 minutes, they burn and they're not good. You put them in for 1 minute and the cheese isn't melted and they're not good. The optimal stopping problem, the optimal answer is 2 minutes. But that's with every decision in life. How do you make the optimal next business move? What is the optimal next level for you? So here's the problem. We go through life. We trust people who are status driven that don't actually know real answers, and they stumbled upon their success a lot of times, by the way, and they don't actually know how they did it a lot of the time, FYI. Okay. And I'm talking in this industry, I've met some of the biggest players, and some of them are like, yeah, I don't really know. Behind the scenes, they say that, but they act like they know everything. So here's what you got to do. You got to realize that the unsexy book, the boring book, is actually the most valuable. The boring YouTube channel and the boring podcast is actually the most accurate. This sensational extremism on either side of the spectrum is almost always inaccurate. Over here, people tell you work hard, grind, never rest. Over here, everything's going to work out no matter what you do if you stay aligned in R&R. It's like both of those are absolutely wrong. Some people work too hard and need more R&R. That's me. Probably you. Okay. Other people are already lazy. The last thing they need is to be confirmed that laziness is going to get them success, which, by the way, those very people used to grind in order to get to where they are. And so that's what it is. My answer is the least sexy answer is almost always the most accurate.
Yeah, so powerful and so unbelievably true. Alan, this conversation could go on for probably another 3 hours, but for the sake of our audience and their commute, which is probably nearing its end, there are folks listening who, a podcast totally changed my life, but it wouldn't have done anything if I didn't take action on it. And so folks that are listening to you, they want to take action on what you've talked about. How can they find more out about the work you do? Where can they get in touch with you?
So I do business coaching. My business partner does podcast coaching. Some podcasts want to start a business. Some businesses want to start a podcast. I think both are great. two trains in tandem. If you want to get in touch with me, you can go to nextleveluniverse.com, spelled just like it sounds. We also have a podcast with 1,700 episodes called Next Level University. The person who has nextleveluniversity.com is asking for way too much money, so we said, you know what, nextleveluniverse.com.
Fantastic. Well, head on over. We'll put those in the show notes, as well as contact the social information for Alan and his team. Head on over to Next Level Universe. Fantastic. Had a chance to check it out myself, and I highly, highly recommend it. You will not regret it. Some great resources there and a powerful message. So, Alan, thank you so much for being on the show today. It was a privilege and honor having you. For those of you watching or listening today, you know your time and attention mean the world to us. I hope you got as much out of this conversation as I know I did, and I cannot wait to see you next time. Take care.
It was an honor, Scott. Thank you. Thank you.